Alright, hello guys. Your boy, Beaves in the Trap. Biscuits from Heaven. Whatever alias I need to go under for this video. I haven't been putting out many videos recently. I'm getting dusted up with these tests and such, and it's been truly unbearable. But what's even more unbearable is some of the games that we've put on since my last video. I believe I put the LSU preview on last video, and I have not felt discussing Auburn football since then, but I have just not on here, and I feel like I need to give a little bit of take on what could help this team scuttle back to the realm of the elite. Because even though they're top eight, which is an abortion upon football for us to even be top 15, to be honest with you. Um, I think that the defense is definitely top eight. I think the special teams is probably top eight. I don't know if the coaching is top eight, and the offense is it's damn sure not top eight. But I do think this team is salvageable with just a few tweaks. I'm gonna try to go really, I don't want to say vague, but just something you haven't heard before. Obviously, you've heard. You see this page I'm on right now, the Russian game. It's been said to death. Auburn is a Russian team, but this roster even coming in this season, it wasn't built for a Russian team. The recruiting in the past couple of years has been almost exclusively skill position heavy. Herb Hand's best recruits were not even offensive linemen, it seemed. He just this seems set up to be a niche finesse team, and who better to lead that than a niche finesse guy like Jarrett Stidham? I don't think Jarrett Stidham should be in a a multiple getting hit type of offense, something gritty like Auburn is right now. I think it's okay with Nick in his 2014 year. The offense got a little bit more stymied. I think since I don't know if the stats might be better, but I know that the offense that year is a little bit more begrudging to tempo and stuff like that. And this since then it's just been a trash heap. Um, Even last year it was really rough at times, and I think really it's going to be more of the late fourth quarter, Arkansas. I didn't get to watch the Southern Miss game because I refused to. But um, I feel like based on the passing stats, let's see if I can pull those up. What do we get? Let me see. 245 yards against Southern Miss. That's pretty much the most we've had since the Washington game, and that game was very quick hitter heavy. There's a lot of wheel routes, some crossing routes, some slants. LSU game featured some of that stuff too, but of course we went away from it because Gus is literally a walking titty. God, I hate Gus so much. Um, but yeah, getting back to my point, I haven't implemented the actual points yet, but the main thing that I think is going to lead to this team succeeding, I have 5 points here. First one, biggest one, shake up the O line again. The O line, I don't think we changed the other 4 points as far as positions other than the center, as far as I know. But that needs to happen immediately going forward. I know you want to get consistency set up, but literally, consistency doesn't matter if the consistency you have is literal garbage. I'll give Gus this. Maybe Brahms can improve. In the Arkansas game, he looked pretty, yeah, he looked solid. He played a lot of hustle, a lot of intensity. Caleb didn't have. Caleb Kim, when he played, the stats looked better. Like I saw a post about it the other day, I think yesterday actually, where the stats looked better under him, but he just got like he was the bane of the offensive line, it seemed like. Now I don't know how it came to be where taking him out when he was the worst offensive line guy and something got worse. I don't know how that happened. It's literally mind boggling. But I think you do have to stick with Driscoll a little bit longer. Give him like at least one more game to prove that he's actually just dog crap. Let him prove he's awful as he looks. Because maybe, I mean, that physicality has to eventually show up in that position. A big thing, there was a post trending around here where they showed the offensive line play the entire Southern Miss game with some highlights, or lowlights, rather. And Driscoll, Driscoll got just beat the hell up the entire game. He looked out of position often. He didn't know what he was doing many plays. When he is on his hind legs like a real offensive lineman just pushing. He just gets lost in like space so often. He doesn't look mentally ready to be um he's not a smart run blocker. Maybe he's physical, but he's not smart. And pass block, he just gets desecrated on. So I don't know. I don't know where he fits in long term, but I do know it's more than just him. Uh, Marco Harrell, I believe, the right guard, has been almost as bad as Caleb Kim was starting out, and it's been just as bad as Nick Brown since then. One of the worst right guards in the nation, I can imagine. Literally gets beat repeatedly on the inside. To so often a degree that sometimes you wonder, is it him or is it Brom slash the center? Uh, I think I think best case scenario, you just gotta pull him for Calvin Ashley. You have to. He's horrendous. Literally, he's one of the worst offensive line I've seen in my time watching this. The only saving grace for him is that he plays by one of the worst centers. Oh, Marco Harrell is right. Marco Harrell is left guard. Wait, what? I swear to God, I thought Harrell played right guard. Well, okay, well, let me rephrase this. Mike Horton, who is a right guard, is everything that I just said applies to him and not Marco Harrell. Marco Harrell, you're not Mike Horton. That's what you got going for you. I like Prince Teko Winongo. He's all. I mean, he's like your JB Grimes type of guy where he just pretty much only knows how to do right and run blocking, and anything else is just a little bit too complicated for him. But he's not bad. He's just mediocre, really. I would leave him starting. Um, Jack Driscoll, I don't know, man. Driscoll, sometimes you like him, and sometimes you don't. Offensive line is not his individual thing. He plays by literally one of the worst right guards, like I said, I've seen in this program. And the right guards having to help over when he is doing good to help Braun, who's getting beat, butt blast almost immediately too. So it's a weird situation to which that you know they both suck. So maybe whereas on Driscoll, I don't know if you can bench Driscoll this really. I don't think he's that bad, but I've seen some moments where he looked pretty bad. But I would start him again, and I'd give him Calvin actually to the left of him, and I guess I'd leave Brom in left guard. People told me Trossel looked good. Trossel plays backup left guard, as you know. Let me see. He played backup right tackle. Oh, Driscoll went out. That's what happened. I don't know how you get Trossel on the field and you get Driscoll out there too. Would I recommend benching Driscoll? That's a good question. Uh, you could convince me to bench Driscoll. I mean, you could. Uh, you need your best offensive line combination. That's the biggest thing. You need you need Tega, I feel, for run blocking purposes. And I think you need Calvin Ashley, who's the most talented offensive lineman in the whole roster. Like talent, pure talent. Mold, I don't know how you can mold him, but pure talent, yeah. So give me Driscoll, Ashley, Brahms. Matter of fact, take Brahms out and slide Harrell over to center, and then put Troxel somewhere. If you guys slide Horton over to left guard and slide Driscoll down to right, do what you got to do. Or slide Ashley over to left guard, do what you got to do. But you got to get those four, and you can have Taylor over. Second point, I know I'm taking a good minute, but this is really just a lot of thoughts I put all into one. We need more Asa Martin, Harold Joyner, Sean Shivers, and I did write down Malik Miller, but it seems like he will be getting, you know, he has to be getting carries at this point because of it's a simple fact. Look what you got happening with Booby. So we'll see how that works out, but definitely Asa, Harold, and Shivers. When I was talking about quick passes earlier, your typical quick passes in this offense, obviously, I think we all know, are behind the line of scrimmage type of screens, right? But I'd like to see, who am I thinking about right now? LSU, I know they have used backs in space pretty creatively recently. Of course, in Oklahoma, somebody like that, OU, OSU, Ohio State, they use Weber and Weber maybe Weber and Dobbins well in space. That's what I just see. Something like that. You can use screens, to get like guys like Asa and Shivers open in space, but like just give them some shakes up. They don't have to be like exclusively screens, you know. I don't get paid to make these plays up, but you got to get something that doesn't force the offensive lineman to always run for screens. These offensive linemen are not good. I think we've established that. They're not very athletic either. You can't just depend on them to do screens. Wide receiver screens are a nice way. Maybe some tunnel screens, you know. Although Stidham's been pretty inaccurate in those from what I've seen to this point. I don't know if he can hit a running back, much less. I mean, he misses Ryan Davis pretty often. Ryan Davis in pretty good hands. So I don't know. But maybe you got to use them in the flats, you know, something like that. So something in the flats would be necessary. Some wheel routes. I know we used Harold on a wheel route earlier this year. Harold Joyner should be getting like at least, like I said, 3 or 4 touches on another form, 3 or 4 touches a game. He's big. He looks really physical. I know he had problems with like being like a baby out there and comes getting hit in high school or something like that. But from what I've seen, he takes hits and he eats them up pretty well. You got to use him in space. Get him maybe on some crossing, some curls routes, maybe some curl routes. I'd like to see. Texas routes are a staple, and at least Madden, I know that. Using those Texas routes, just something that gets them in space without using a screen, because I don't know if you want to screen with a body that big, you know, pause. But something like that. And I've reinforced it a couple times now, but quick passes. Um, I really like the crossing routes when we use them. They usually work very well. I know they're using Schwartz very often now. Maybe some passes off the sweep would be good for him. Get him in space. You want to do like a play action sweep, the RPO basically. Some RPOs with Schwartz instead of could maybe work as long as the tackles might hold their edge a little bit. Um, who else are we looking at right now? Ryan Davis, of course. Uh, you know how you get him involved, which I mean maybe we can switch up some crossing slants, but you know how you're gonna get him involved. Seth Seth is pretty good from what I've seen from slants and post routes. He does a couple drops, but what are you gonna do? Quick hitters like a Crow, something like that. I know McLean is really good. Like he has a really good radius about him. Matthew Hill was really hyped coming out of college, high school. I don't know how he fares now. I use Cheller Cox for a lot of like short things like a curl or an out. I mean, that works, so keep on going with that. I don't know how much I like it, but it works. Cheddar Jackson could be really interesting. I know he was a really like tough, like just physical dude. So maybe give him some slants too. Really, we need more slants and crossing routes. Maybe a couple pick plays thrown in from time to time. I know like Hastings back, Stove back. They could, be beneficiaries of something like that. Let me see how this. Like I said, I didn't get to watch this game, so the way the stats played out aren't exactly privy to me. Because Canella got 3 catches. Holy God Almighty! Canella, I mean, I didn't mention him, but he should be getting catches quite often. And of course, I don't expect that, but he should be getting catches pretty often. Unless you use Slayton. Slayton is the most versatile down the field, but he doesn't exactly play into the short, type of plays. More plays at the backfield, though. More passes at the backfield would help. Just not necessarily passes that are screens. So, keep those. And here's probably the most um, savage prediction I think I have. Something that people I don't think necessarily enjoy because I know that very often we don't enjoy using several quarterbacks in this team. But I I give this notion to the jury to just ponder on. Malik Willis touches in the red zone. Now I know that concept shocks some people. So Malik Willis hasn't looked amazing throwing the ball recently, and I'll give him that. He looks more shell shocked when he doesn't chance to throw more than anything at this point. He doesn't look like he knows what throw is. What throw? And that's the thing about it, man. I think this is what happened to you. This is exactly what I feared back in 2016, and it came to pass. When you just use your backups to just hand the ball off and run it, they don't know how to throw when it's game time. And the players, the actual coaches don't know how to use them in a unique playbook setting. Like even though we don't have a unique playbook anyway, when it came for let's say someone got hurt, and it came for GF3 to go out there and throw the ball, they didn't know what GF3 could do other than throw screens, and she was icky on that and throw deep. which I thought he was actually pretty good on. But they didn't use him for any creative like deep one. They just used him for streaks and posts. So when it came time to know like do a good, the only deep passes I remember him throwing were streaks slash go routes, and I think he threw a couple posts and maybe had one intermediate pass in Oklahoma, but that was about it. They didn't have a play we developed for him. And Malik, I think Malik is adequate. Like he has a pretty good arm on him. I know he's really good throwing the ball short earlier, like last year. I don't know. His touch is like almost disappeared from what I've seen. But if they could get him to work on his ability to, just throwing the run, but deciding to throw on the run. Like against Washington, he didn't know when you should throw. I think that's just based out of like shock and just a lack of game time attention to his passing capabilities throwing on the run. You have a really big threat there in that instance because I know he can run across, off the edge, off the tackle pretty adequately, and the read options actually there instead of the pathetically inane pseudo read option with Stidham. You actually have to run a threat, and that's going to help open up from let's say Malik Miller, Asa, Cam Martin, and whenever Bowie comes back, him too. And you can run the RPO, you can run the speed sweep. I think just adding Malik as a the let's say the Tebow role down there, or the Wildcat, but a passing option that Gus hasn't employed that much this year, but get the opportunity to do so with Malik. It gives them a lot of options. I remember against Jeremy, well, against Memphis a couple years ago, the last time he won a bowl game. With Jeremy there, it opened up the offense because Sean literally couldn't do anything between the 20s. And it was obvious he just wasn't going to improve. It didn't improve any point the whole year. It hasn't improved since that point, but definitely hasn't improved at that point. And Jeremy's a big body. He he knew at that point, I think, what to throw, how to throw it, and how just to take the positive plays. And he was a running threat. He's a big body, like I said. Malik wasn't a big body. Coach Joey Gatewood for that. But I think you want to just kind of save Joey Gatewood at this point and just, I mean, it's not really the point of throwing him out there just for that when you can use Malik Woods, who's pretty adequate, and I'd imagine. He's a strong guy, too. So I think I'd use him just to open up the red zone playbook for him because obviously it's not working. What's the My last point, and the reason I had this up for so long is not this right here. This is something I talked about earlier. I didn't get to click on it because I wasn't paying attention. Um, these old articles I wasn't paying attention to. 17-minute video. Ooh. Um, yeah, try TD Moultrie and Richard Jabuner. Now I know for a fact that Richard Jabuner is what is it, a freshman, right? Richard Jabuner. Yeah, the freshman, true freshman. I know he's really good, really hyped coming on to this as commitment as a potential buck, to succeed the boy when it came time to pass Jeff Holland. And he hasn't gotten the looks that he kind of deserves in that instance. But I know, I don't want to pull a film out here, but I know, I know that Richard Boone has a lot of potential. It's not being used as it should be, and it really does anger me quite a bit. But even more potential for him is TD Moultrie, who I don't know what they want out of him. I really don't want to. You can look at this right now. Gus basically is saying like he's doing this consistent. I know that like he's had some penalties, right? At least a couple penalties. Um, it's like a mental problem right now from what I see out of him. I haven't paid attention that much in games, I'll admit to you, but I know that I've seen a lot of hype in the preseason, off season as well, about his capabilities. I looked a little bit, it's just a little bit. Whenever someone posted Twitter film about him from last year, he looked like a really like capable backup to the boy since they mud at times. So I'm sitting there thinking like, maybe it is something mental with him right now. Maybe he's like a the coastside period where you gotta just like smack him in the mouth real quick, publicly to so he gets the point. And I mean, I don't, I'm, I understand that. It makes sense. It makes a lot of sense. But the way I'm looking at this right now is that you have to hope that the smack in the mouth has worked because they need an edge rusher. As good as defense has been, they only give them 5 touchdowns. Number two in the nation scoring defense. I think the only team that hasn't given up something ludicrous, but I don't know what it was. Um, I mean, you kind of look at it and you're thinking to yourself, well, how can they improve, Jabir? The coverage gotten better. I mean, they haven't played anybody since LSU. The coverage has gotten better, sounder, at least it seems. I think the penalties clean up a little bit less. I think he had 9 penalties, matter of fact, pretty sure. Can I pull that up real quick? Can I pull the penalties up? Can I pull the penalties up? Anyway, I know that Noah from what I saw looked a lot better. Noah Igbogy, big boo 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 boo. Noah looked a lot better from what I could tell. He looks smarter now out there. Yeah, the whole coverage looks better. So we had 9 of 7 8, which is atrocious, but what can I say? Hopefully that wasn't about the secondary. Secondary didn't look that bad against LSU. We're not gonna go into that can of beans, but they look other than the big play they occasionally give up early in games, which seems to be mind numbing to me because I don't know how they keep on doing that, but there's an occasional big play where you can see there's like a lack of awareness of what to do in a situation. You look at LSU's DBs, Alabama's DBs for the most part, they know what to do in that 20 plus yard range when it comes to a pop fly, basically. I don't think our DBs know how to do that, but they're getting better every season, every game. And of course, the linebacker level, Darrell Williams and Deshaun Davis. I mean, that's about as good as you're gonna find. They do their job well. Not too many things to report home about. And I think the interior rush isn't actually that bad for the line. Because you look at this whole line in a more defined way. I forgot on Tavis Atkinson, shout out to him. Marlon Davidson, great edge rusher, plays the Carl Lawson role back across the freshman, playing second fiddle to D Ford. Or he's a good edge rusher, a good edge setter. He won't be getting much in the way of pass rushing, but he sets like as far as a run stopper on the outside, he's what you want. Big Cat Brian apparently backs him up, but I know he plays across the whole line, and he's really really versatile. So I don't want to just say exclusively. He's basically a hybrid starter, basically. Dontavius Russell, you plug him in there in the interior, and he's gonna do about as good as anybody could do. Derek Brown, phenomenal guy, very athletic for his weight, and Nick Cole, who was a converted interior guy himself, he's been good from what I've seen. I mean, so Texas stays and pretty solid and all of that. But I say all this to say this: all of these guys, even Marlon Davidson to some degree, these are like interior guys. These are not guys that you sit down there, you plug them out, then you say these guys are going to just, you know, like shed tackles and just stock up sacks. That's not them. There's a lot of edge rushers, or not edge rushers, uh, plug up the edges at best type of guys on the edge. Big guys that move laterally well, but not like they don't move up the field well to get the sack. They get lost in space easily enough. And pass rush has been neutralized a couple games. I feel like we haven't getting the sacks I think we should get with how talented the interior is, and that comes at the expense when you don't run a real edge rusher, as we haven't. And I think you gotta see T.D. Moultrie and Jabooner just to set the edge against at least Nick Fitzgerald. I mean, God forbid Tua take Lovia and Justin Fields because that could be problematic. But you gotta have somebody that can contain well, and you can't have boys that big play good contain. I mean, they could of course plug up the material, but Fitzgerald's gonna be running for most of the game, obviously. And I could go on a little bit longer, but I just want to get my point across. Um, And I could, expound upon this with another video later down the road if y'all want it. But I just had to get all my thoughts out in a pretty clear and I feel like concise manner. Tell me how y'all feel about it. I think we're gonna honestly win out to at least enjoy the game. I think the defense and special team is that good that we can just win out, period, and there's no problem. And maybe I'm wrong about that, but that's how I feel right now. And let me know y'all feel in the comments. Peace.